My opinion.
No, I think it's founded.
I would like to call to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and Agenda Setting Meeting for November 7th, 2019. It is approximately 8 p.m. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a presentation, Council, by Brian Teeger, Progress City LLC, Autism Employment Network. Brian, you're here. I'm sorry, Brian. Kiger?
Kiger, yes.
Kiger, I mispronounced that.
That's
Sorry.
quite all right. Happens all the time. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you to Councilwoman Linda Gatus for making us aware of this and inviting us to come out. I know the mayor has been to our store over on Route 22 as well, and so coming here today to introduce you to Spectra Dolce, which is our confection store on 22 in the former Park Street Treats location. Actually, stone's throw away from here. And Spectra Dolce is a product of our Autism Employment Network. So the store will be completely staffed by adults on the autism spectrum as a training facility, training opportunity, a workplace engagement opportunity for adults who are struggling to find meaningful, sustainable employment with an employer. It is a training tool that we actually hope will help prepare people for sustainable jobs with members of our Autism Employment Network. We have municipalities who are part of our network. Cranberry Township signed up about 2 weeks ago. We've got manufacturers, we have IT firms, and they joined the network to learn more about autism and to engage with us in a way to employ adults in these sustainable careers. And so it's been a pleasure to launch our store on 22 here within the last month, taking over for Park Street Treats. And the support from the community so far has been impressive. I know, like I said, Mayor, you've been in with your family, and Linda was at the grand opening ceremony on November 2nd. We hope that we can turn that corner of 22 there, where it almost meets Monroeville Boulevard, into a light of hope for these adults that are struggling to find employment. There isn't a day that goes by that we don't have somebody come in and ask us how they can work in our store, to the point that we're somewhat overstaffed at this point and trying to find additional opportunities for them to get meaningful employment with Spectra Dolce, with the Autism Employment Network, and with Progress City, our parent company. And so we're glad to be residents of Monroeville and be able to offer this business opportunity as well here in the municipality. I think that's, if you've got any...
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful what you're doing there at that facility, and we're really proud to have you as part of our community. And could you explain the waffles a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So, so we do have authentic Belgian waffles. These are not the waffles that you might get at, say, a Denny's or anything like that. Belgian waffles, authentic Belgian waffles, are actually made with a pearl sugar, which is a beet sugar that caramelizes under heat, and it doesn't burn like cane sugar does. And it's actually a dough, not a batter. So it is actually a dough that is placed onto the waffle iron. And it is more like a pastry. You don't put syrup on it. We did have a customer who stormed out when we didn't have syrup. It is a pastry that you can eat with your hand. You can put ice cream on it, fresh fruit, Nutella, or even cookie butter spread. These are the same waffles that the waffle carts in Times Square serve. And so it is certainly something that is a staple. And in addition to the Perry's ice cream, those of the people who are fans of Perry's ice cream come in, and they're happy to see that as well. We do all of the dipping of the Oreos and the peanut butter meltaways and the pretzels and all that stuff right there in the shop. And we're teaching people how to learn this valuable skill set in culinary arts and even customer service and packaging and assembling right there in the store. And so it's been a whirlwind of a couple months to get this up and running, but it's been exciting and rewarding at the same time.
And your hours?
We are open right now Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesday through Thursday, we're open 11 to 8, and on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, we are open 11 to 9. And we hope to expand to mornings and even Sundays and Mondays as well. All right.
Great. Council, any other questions?
No, just,
Thank you.
we thank you for bringing the business into Monroeville, as being Monroeville residents as well, raising the awareness
of autism, the understanding and the tolerance, as we spoke about at the opening.
Yes.
And I think that's a great thing as a reach out to the community. And if anybody would have any need for or would like to have some employees,
Sure.
they could contact you directly.
Yes, they can.
Stop over, get some candy, and have a
Stop
little
in,
talk.
get some fudge, get some candy, and ask for
Which is
Brian.
fantastic, by the way. Took
Yeah,
some
thank
home
you.
for the hubby.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd be happy to help anybody with this, use some training on autism awareness, and then that engagement, that coaching to help
Yes.
them understand how they can make that.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Welcome.
to your wife as well.
Best
who's
of
in
luck.
the back.
Guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for coming
Thanks.
out. Okay, we're going to open up for citizens' remarks and comments on any municipal item. If there's anyone that's signed in, and you also have an opportunity to sign in if you have not. Where am I? So, sir, if you could state your name for the record, please, and that you are a Monroeville resident.
Yes, my name is Len Young, resident of Monroeville. And with the weather being so balmy today, 80 degrees and sunshine. Oh, I was talking to my parents down in South Florida, that's right. I got a little mixed up. Let's talk about the swimming pool, Bel Air Pool. I understand that it's a done deal now that it's been sold. Is that right? Addressing council in general, what was the feedback or the tone of your constituents that contacted you about the swimming pool? Did they urge you to sell the pool?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I got no phone calls. Just
Nothing?
thanks.
So the residents of the municipality, they were in favor of selling the pool or not, generally speaking?
I
Anybody?
would say what they had to say, they said here in the audience. I didn't get any phone calls at my house.
Right, but people who did come up here
It was the members of the
Take time to
pool,
speak up.
Glenn,
Yeah.
that were
Yeah, you're
against
right. You
us
did. I apologize.
selling the
You did.
pool.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the reason I'm bringing it
I mean-
up is,
You
Yeah,
did.
they wanted us, but there wasn't a lot of other input from other residents.
it just seems such a shame. I mean, you drive on that turnpike, they got a lot of room. I know they want to expand and everything. It's probably gonna be like 5 or 6 years until they even get around to moving
Len,
dirt.
Len,
Yeah,
we had to sell it to them.
had to.
Eminent
Who put the
domain.
gun to your head? I mean, it's like,
Yes,
No, it's gonna, here's one more time.
yeah,
They were going to take half of that property. That's all they wanted. That would have closed the pool. They were gonna take it, one way or another. Either we sell it to them, or they're gonna take it. They decided to give us an offer of twice that much to take the whole piece of property, because if we agreed to it, they were gonna put a salt dome there. If we said no, they were gonna take what they wanted and move down the road.
yeah,
And
well,
it's not a complicated issue, because
Understand.
they were gonna cut our pool property in half. And there wasn't a deal, there wasn't a negotiating power on ours. Something we couldn't say, oh, no, we disagree to that,
Well-
because they were gonna file papers.
yeah, I'm no engineer, but I know when I drive on that turnpike, there's lots of room on both sides that they could have shifted it over a little bit or something just to save our stinking pool. It's just, I'm very disappointed that the pool was sold, but it's a done deal, I guess, and that's the way it goes. The good news is, Saturday nights, nobody's got anything else better to do than watch reruns on the TV. So what you need to do is go down the American Legion, bottom of Duff Road, Gold Star Post 820. We moved the bingo up an hour, so instead of waiting until 8 o'clock, the bingo starts at 7 p.m. Saturday nights, Gold Star Post 820, bottom of Duff Road there on Old William Penn Highway. Bring a few dollars and have a great time and support a worthy cause, too. That's all.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address council?
By the way, this young lady, I have talked to her on the phone.
Many times. We became close personal
we did.
friends in the end of June and beginning of July. We talked on the 4th of July, or the 3rd, actually.
Right.
So, Candace Bruno, I am a resident. I just wanted to get an update on what's going on in the pool. We couldn't talk about anything. We couldn't make plans before the sale. The sale unfortunately went through. So I just want to know what's going on.
Good. And just before, I apologize, because I was going to have Mr. Poach present this before the comment period. But do you have anything else you want to comment about other than that, or you just want to get the update?
I just want to get an update, and I also want to know, I know that we said that rebuilding the pool was unmanageable, we couldn't do it. Is that still, I know that you said that we were tasked with a problem to open the pool 2020, or open options for swimming in 2020.
That's correct.
So what about 2021, 2022, 2023, future? That's what I'm looking for too.
That part has not been discussed further
Okay.
at this point.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to
No, that was
comment
it. I
about?
just want to know where I'm going to
Mr. Quinn,
swim.
if you want to
Sure.
just give your presentation.
And
I'm
Len,
sorry.
yeah,
for
and I
putting-
could have saved you probably some topics too as well too. So, again, back to the original, our original conversation, and Ms. Bruno and I have also communicated as well on some stuff. Our task has been with our committee, has been to replace the focus has been for 2020, the aquatic services. And I'm going to use that as a broad term because it doesn't just include those things that went on at the pool, it's and a lot of things with the Parks and Recreation Department as well. If you were here for their other presentation, they discussed some things they do and don't do, but they're continuing their programs as well. So that's taken into consideration. Just as a quick review, we had a focus group meeting. That's a point to start with, in addition to the public comments that we had received from everyone here on Citizens Nights for the last couple of months. We tried to get an understanding of what our capabilities were, and we used some of the community pools as well, the clubs, to talk to them about what was their capability and what's their viability too. We didn't want to like jump into something and not have a thought on that. We got a positive reinforcement that we started to move ahead. So I have my agenda sitting here, I wrote my notes down. So 29th of October, we met here, there we go, with the members of the residents, our committee with the other pools that were in place in town, in the community, and discussed, okay, folks, what do we need to do and what can we specifically, drill down into and make happen? Number one has been provisions for the swim teams as well. Interestingly enough, that group brought a lot of information forward to us regarding the league, the capability, the things that are in place. The most impressive thing that happened, I think, that night was everybody was willing to roll their sleeves up and get to work with that. In fact, one of the pools, I believe it's Haymaker, correct if I'm wrong, was going to inquire to some parameters with the league. What does this mean if the team exists in different places? So we are getting that answer from them. So those folks have jumped into that process.
Yes.
Right, because you have to be a member.
Yeah,
Yes.
eastern suburbs, like to do that. So there were some parameters we weren't really aware of that they brought forward to that. The next piece was we started to talk about common program features as well to continue with swimming lessons, things that are in place, what people do, what they cannot do, who's willing to do that. And to summarize that, again, the groups have said, okay, we're going to meet that group again, and that group included Haymaker Swim Club, Gateway Heights, Garden City, Park Swim Club, JCC, and then, of course, our committee and Mr. Little as well, and Mr. Estock from Parks and Recreation. So it's a larger group that's starting to work on this. Our goal has been now, let's come up with some type of implementation plan that we can then present to the public. Okay, that's the next piece of this, to do that. My intention to do that is to have that together, be able to have that plan posted, say here's a rough idea of the things that we can do to do that, and then entertain a meeting with public comment. Okay, advertised appropriately here, minutes taken, information that's ongoing for where we're moving forward with that piece. Is it going to be everything exactly the same? Of course not. It's not the same physical location, to do that. Some things may be better. I'm waiting to hear some outcome for the league and the swim team piece. I don't really have a sense of that yet, but those groups are working together to do that. And they were reaching out to the swim coach. I almost forgot to do this we had the conversation. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Swim coach and that leadership of the team from Bel Air.
Okay.
So they've reached to do that. So they were speaking the same language. Okay, so that particular team as it exists to do that. Intent is great. Okay, we know we're going to solve this problem right away. I think it'd be successful if we start to look forward into the longer term. What's that going to be? I don't have an answer for that just yet, but that is the intent of it, because we don't want to, this is not just to put a Band-Aid on it for 2020. It's to make sure that the programs exist, and that's been the problem. I think I've said that before. If not, I'll repeat it now, is our intentions to assure those programs continue to exist, into the future. to that. And that was some of the reasons we had a budgetary discussion on how, the funds are in there to continue to support programs that were at the pool. How does that look now? Because you can't have a budget item for something that doesn't exist.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's going away, but he understands that. I think that's a successful way to explain that. Tim, is that an accurate assessment? It's not going away. We still will be able to do that, which included in that budget item things like the camps and programs and swim lessons and things that occurred at that facility.
Okay.
To do that. So, we understand, it's May, things open up, we want to try to move forward as we can. Mr. Little's office has been helping us with the calendar to look forward to that public meeting. It's very busy for a while. I hope to have that soon, the end of January, February timeframe. I hate to say that now and not be able to deliver on that time, but we're working with that group the group that we just mentioned to get some more details, put some more, meat on what we're talking about that's in place.
Okay.
Okay, so we will continue to move that. Don't want to ignore it, don't want to go away from it. We're not going to let it go. We want to get the programs moving forward, and I hope we'll get better as the years go on with it, to do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, with it.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and thanks for keeping in touch with us. I
No,
appreciate it.
I will. I'll keep
Yes,
keeping
ma'am.
in touch.
You know how to get in touch, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. I'm going to keep the floor open for citizens' comments. If you have not signed in yet, please do. State your name for the record, please.
Justin Kelnicki, Woodhaven Drive. This is now the fourth council meeting since the lovely events of July 21st, which has left us homeless. And you knew what I was coming for.
I was going to read it.
Awesome. So we're seeing if the meeting's ever going to happen and when that's scheduled for.
Want me to read it now?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, Jason.
Dear Logan's Ferry Road residents, area residents, the municipality of Monroeville and Ward 3 Councilman Ron Harvey would like to inform you that an informational meeting will be conducted on Wednesday, December 11th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers in Monroeville Municipal Building, 2700 Monroeville Boulevard, regarding stormwater issues on Logan's Ferry Road and the area. And I would add to that if you didn't get a letter and you live in that area, you are still welcome. We tried to send it to direct residents that were generally affected by those situations. So not every road and every resident off Logan's Ferry Road, especially ones to the right, may not have got a letter. Everybody to the left and on Logan's Ferry Road, it just went out. Cut me a little break here. It just went out today, okay? So, anyway, so the letter's out, the meeting said we had to have the proper officials here that could give you the proper answers as much as they could. So there are going to be about 7 officials here, myself, Mr. Little, Mr. Ratcher, Mr. Hugus, Mr. Story, engineering firm from the flood mitigation firm. And am I missing anybody, Paul?
I don't believe so.
All those people will be here.
Repeat the day and time again for them. Repeat the day and time again.
December 11th at 7 p.m.
Here.
That was going to come under my council report, but that's okay.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Is there anyone else who'd like to address council on any municipal item? Seeing none, we're going to close that part of the meeting, and we're going to move over to our agenda-setting meeting. All of council is here, other than Mr. Duncan, who is ill this evening, and Mr. Arasinko, who is at a county meeting representing the municipality. Council, I have an executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to the budget hearing and Citizens Night, Thursday, November 7th, 2019, beginning at 6 p.m. until approximately 6:30 p.m. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the November 12th, 2019 council meeting. We're not having a that presentation's on Tuesday, right?
Apparently he must be.
Okay. And we will have a presentation from Nova Insurance on Tuesday. Council, in front of you to review are your minutes of the Citizens Night meeting of October 3rd, 2019, the council work session of October 3rd, 2019, and the regular council meeting of October 8th, 2019. Any comments, additions, or questions about the minutes, council?
No, sir.
No, sir.
None.
No, thank you.
Council, moving over to our reports of our tax collections. Any questions or comments this evening?
No, sir.
None, Mayor.
Very good. Council, list of bills and budget transfers. Mrs. Gatus, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions this evening?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Poach?
No, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Johns?
No, thank you.
Mr. Wilson, very good. And payroll report, council, any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move over. Very good. We will go over our vacancies on our boards, commissions, and authorities. There will be, as the new year always, as we approach the new year, there's always many more vacancies that are available. So any residents that are interested in getting involved on a local level with the municipality, please check out the vacancies and get your name in for consideration. Council, bids and proposals. We have one this evening, the municipal building roof overlay bid. Mr. Little, please.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Sorry, Joe.
we had a bid opening yesterday for the municipal building roof overlay project. And council has a spreadsheet in their packet on the prices that have come in on the bids. We had 4 bidders who bid in a range from $232,000 up to $385,000. The bids are probably a little higher, or probably higher than what council probably expected. And just to explain a little bit of that, first of all, we had a pre-bid meeting last Monday, not this past Monday, the Monday before last. And we had 6 bidders up on the roof looking. And we have 14 HVAC units up there, and not only that, but we have the parapet wall that is up there, and the roof rolls up and it goes up onto the cap. And there's a little drawing that's in the back that Steve Altair, the architect for MS Consultants, he put a little sketch together on that, and maybe a little bit of a drainage system that has to be added up there, made the project a little bit more expensive than what it is, or than what we thought, according to how many square foot the project may be. So the project itself is a little bit more complicated than what was anticipated. The successful, if council awards the bid, the successful bidder will have until May 1st of next spring to complete the project. Steve Altair, the architect, and I talked about this extensively. Initially, we had it at the end of this year, but as we know, the weather literally is going south. But one of the stipulations that's in the bid specs is that if they do begin work and they quit, they have to secure the roof so we do not have any damage inside. There's any leaks. We do have leaks on occasion, hence the reason why we're getting the roof repaired. So they have until May 1st, a successful bidder has until May 1st to complete the project. Council has the spreadsheet, and you'll notice that tennis...
Where is that at, Mr. Little?
It's in your packet.
In this one?
No, it's in your...
On this, oh, here we
Ah,
go.
in the,
I've looked through
make
this
it
entire
happen.
thing
Yeah,
3
we're-
times.
Sorry.
Look at that again.
Thank you.
Got it.
Okay, one of the low bidder, Tennis Roofing and Asphalt,
That makes it easier.
they're the low bidder. However, Steve Altair, the architect, he put out 3 addenda. And
Include them.
2 of those addenda were important. And the contractor, Tennis Roofing and Asphalt, only picked up 1 addenda. They had to stipulate this in the bid contract that they picked up all 3 addenda from a company called Printscape, which MS Consultants uses. Everything's done electronically nowadays.
But they were definitely notified?
They were not here for the pre-bid meeting. It wasn't mandatory, though. But the advertisement was in the paper, that you had to pick up everything at Printscape, and obviously they had to contact Printscape, I would imagine, in order to receive the bid documents. Now, why they did not receive addenda 2 and 3, we don't know. But that, as far as I am concerned, and my recommendation to council, disqualifies them from the bid.
Agreed.
And my recommendation to council would be G&W Roofing at $240,000, which is approximately a little under $8,000 more than the low bid. And believing that they did not have those two addenda is probably reason why they were the low bid. And I've informed Mr. Ratcher about this this afternoon, so he is aware of it. Any other questions from council? My recommendation to council would be, even though this is higher, it's a roof, we have to get it fixed. If we're going to do anything else internally in the municipal building, it's like a house. The roof has to be fixed before you do anything else.
I'm good.
So,
It's great.
Mr. Hugus, any comments or concerns from your department about this?
I was not part of this activity. Mr. Little took it over.
Okay.
I gave Paul a little breathing room a couple months ago.
So,
Yeah, I know he
no
was.
comment is what you're
I
saying.
know he
Say
was.
bleeding room?
He had enough on his plate,
Very
so.
That answers that.
He
So,
was happy he got.
council, any other questions
Yeah.
about this?
No.
Let's get it
Very good.
done.
We'll move over to our consent agenda. We have new business. We have,
When do they start?
One
Mr.
item.
Little? When are they gonna?
Well,
we
they
have to approve
can,
it first.
if you approve, the low bidder, who I believe should be the low bidder, as I mentioned, G&W Roofing, they can, as soon as they get all their documents into us with respect to their insurance and all of that, then they can begin. And my suspicion, I don't know, they may not begin until the spring. All right, because when we had the pre-bid meeting, a lot of the contractors were under the assumption that they could start in the spring, and we said, no, you can start right away. And we one of the addendum we changed is that we made the completion date May 1st. So,
Vote
Thank
on
you.
that Tuesday night?
correct,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay, council, our new business, we have one item of new business, 19-5-SUB, Victor Paluso. Mr. Little, please.
Yeah, applicant is requesting a preliminary and final subdivision approval of tax parcel 640N306 and 640N304. The applicant proposes to subdivide the two lots so that Lot 1A has a total of 7,501.52 square feet, and Lot 1B has a total of 15,829.33 square feet. Properties are located at 294 Alva Way and 2217 Mount Pleasant Road in the R2 one-family residential zoning district. Planning Commission has approved this application.
Mr. Wielden, anything to add?
No, it's a very simple subdivision. It's more of a lot line revision. There's two existing lots. They're just changing the shape of the two lots. MS Consultants has reviewed it. There were some minor comments. They've all been addressed.
Okay. Council, any questions? No. Very good. Moving over to our motions this evening. We have three motions. Mr. Little.
Okay, the first one is a motion to approve the settlement release of the Verizon wireless complaint. Council entered into this several years ago, and one of the items we talked about in executive session, and council will vote on this this coming Tuesday. Okay, any other questions from council on this, sir?
You want to give a summary of that?
I think we have to.
Yeah, basically, what the Verizon wireless complaint is, approximately back in I believe it was in 2014, we had noticed that Verizon across the country, this isn't just locally or in Pennsylvania, across the country, we were not receiving, when I say we, the municipality gets 5% of the gross revenue of the franchise agreement with Verizon and Comcast. And it was noticed by an attorney in Mr. Cohen's, who is our cable franchise attorney, that on the late fees that were paid, a 5% fee paid to the municipalities was not being collected, was not being distributed to the municipalities. So this became a class action lawsuit across the country, and there were I think, 5 municipalities in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that entered into it. And one of them was Monroeville. We decided to enter into it. And the municipality, and it is taking 6 years for this to come to fruition. There was no legal cost or anything. Everything was paid by Verizon. But the municipality has gained a modicum amount of money of $20,000 due to this class action lawsuit. So council will vote for the release and agreement on this on Tuesday evening.
Very good. Next motion.
Okay, next one is the approval of the Vesely settlement. I don't know if you wanna-
If I may, without going into details, because I have not briefed council yet, because we ran out of time back there. And so I will brief you on Tuesday and put this matter up for consideration. Just very generally, what it is a landowner has a dispute with the municipality regarding the widening of a road, and if his property was taken in the widening of the road. This is an attempt to resolve that dispute. So I will brief council on it in executive session, and then provided that you're of a mind to move ahead, then we can disclose it once it's approved.
Very good. Yeah, we can fully discuss it at that point. Excellent. Mr. Little, next motion.
Okay, the next one is a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance authorizing the proper officials of Monroeville to enter into a collective bargaining agreement of the years 2019 to 2022 with the Police Department Wage Policy Committee of the Municipality of Monroeville. There is a tentative agreement between the staff and the Wage and Policy Committee, although the Wage and Policy Committee has not met, has not ratified on this yet. But we're just getting ahead of the curve here, and if council will approve the advertisement, we'll advertisement. So if the police rank and file vote in the affirmative on it, then council will be able to vote at the December 12th meeting to ratify it, and the collective bargaining agreement, which is a 4-year agreement, will move forth. Okay.
Very good. Council, any questions? We're going to move over to our reports of municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, anything this evening?
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Little.
Okay, the first item under my report is Northern Pike Repair Project. PennDOT has informed the municipality that Northern Pike, just west of Abricks Creek Road, about 800 feet, will be repaired. The slope on the northern side of Northern Pike is failing, and that has to be buttressed up. So obviously, the road doesn't slide into the ravine, into the creek there. So that is going to start January of 2020 with an anticipated completion date of May 2020. Traffic will still be open. It will be reduced to one lane, and the traffic will be controlled through an automated traffic light, and also when they're working there, they'll have workers there that have a sign up, stop and go, so the traffic will be able to go through. If you go through that intersection every day or twice a day like I do, I would suggest probably taking an alternate route, because I would imagine that traffic is going to be backed up coming back onto 22. They're going to have to control from 22 if you make a left. If you're heading west on 22, making a left on the Northern Pike, then they're going to have to control that right there, and there's only going to be so many cars that are going to be allowed in there, I would imagine. So that's going to be starting in January.
Can I ask a quick question, Mr. Hughes, about that?
Yes, sir.
When they're doing that, obviously, I'm very well aware of that hillside.
Yes, sir.
When they're doing that, when you're going down the hill, I mean, they might already be doing it, but I'm going to ask anyway. When you're going down the hill to the red light, right before you get to the red light on the right-hand side there, that ravine, where everybody cuts over to make so people can go the other direction. If somebody falls off that, you're going to have to get a tow truck to get them out of there. So I'm hoping that somebody's paying attention enough that they're fixing the other side. Maybe they'll consider fixing that part on the bottom right there.
That's
Just
not.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I know. You are correct, because I travel that at least once a day.
I know.
And somebody that's not familiar with that,
They're going to fall off.
they could do that. You're right.
Just a
Jay.
thought.
Yeah, looking at the scope of the project, that is not included.
Yeah, that's not part of the project.
I just thought maybe we could mention it to somebody since they're over there playing around. Yeah. I'll be quiet.
That's a good suggestion, Mr. Johns.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Little.
Okay, item number 2, the 2020 terrain event. As we were talking about before, the terrain event was very successful. We had here approximately a month ago, and we have a schedule for another one next October, October 10th and 11th. Same time, same channel, I guess. I mean, I don't know if the details have been worked out at what time it starts, but we're tentatively starting for next year for October 10th and 11th for a terrain event.
Yeah, it was an excellent event, and, tip of the hat to everybody involved. I mean, from the rec department to the public works department, the community park employees over there, Forbes Hospital was involved, the fire departments were involved, the EMS were involved, public safety, a lot of hands on deck. And this company was very impressed with how our community rallied around this event and put it on, so it was very successful. Like we mentioned earlier, we had about 7,000, Mr. Johns, how many?
7,835.
Yeah, close to 8,000 people throughout the park in Monroeville, and also every hotel room was booked that weekend. Restaurants were full, a lot of positive, it really shined a positive light on Monroeville, everyone that came in, so excellent event, so looking forward to next year's.
Yeah.
Mr. Little. Okay, number 3 is Monroeville's annual tree lighting festivities will be Tuesday, November 26th at 7 p.m. at the Old Stone Church. Always a great event, especially for the kids. Singing the 12 Days of Christmas, that's always a very nice event. And so that'll be the Tuesday, the 26th at 7 p.m.
And it's the 50th anniversary.
And it's the 50th anniversary, that's right.
Jeez.
That's my anniversary.
And one last comment from me as my condolences go out to the Lou Smith family. Smitty was a character, and he will be very much missed. And the golf outing he took care of, and I wasn't manager here when he was a lieutenant and a detective, but my understanding is he was a great one. So my condolences to his family. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Hugus, anything this evening?
No, sir.
Ms. Rock?
I have nothing.
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Mayor. My condolences to the family of Lou Smitty. I only knew Smitty for the last 10 years, but you're right, Tim. He was a character, but what a character he was. And I enjoyed playing golf with him. I enjoyed being with him. And he had his own opinions, and whether you liked it or not. Yeah, there you go. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Johns?
Yes, sir. About Lou Smith, better known as Smitty. If you lived in the area, everybody knew who he was, and in surrounding areas. You know, Smitty and I were friends longer than I can remember. More often than not, we were like oil and water. And I do mean that when I say that. But towards the end, he died a week ago today. Towards the end, he showed up at my driveway. We made our peace and said goodbye. So to Terry and your family, I wish you the best. That being said, a couple things going on at the convention center. On the 10th, Greensburg Great Train and Toy Show. I apologize, on the 9th and the 10th. On the 13th and the 14th is the Three Rivers Wet Weather Solar Conference. I'm not sure what that is, but I don't know if I can repeat that again or not.
That's a good thing.
On the 22nd and 23rd is the annual Pittsburgh Arts and Crafts Holiday Spectacular. On the 30th of the month and the 1st of December is the Showmasters Gun Show. And with that, I am done.
Thank you, Mr. Johns. Mr. Harvey?
Great glasses.
Yes, I'm going to read the letter I read earlier one more time in case anybody was watching and didn't hear it. This is to the Logan's Ferry Road area residents, the municipality of Monroeville, and Ward 3 Councilman Ron Harvey, myself, would like to inform you that the informational meeting will be conducted on the Wednesday, December 11th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers in the Monroeville Municipal Building at 2700 Monroeville Boulevard regarding stormwater issues in the Logan's Ferry Road area. I would ask that if you don't live in that area, you to maybe stay in the lobby until we see how full we get. I don't know what the turnout's going to be like. We could get 10 people, we could get 100 people. So I would ask that room be left for the Logan's Ferry Road residents. And only one other thing, and again, it was with what everybody else reported on. My sincere condolences to the Smith family. Smitty was well-known person. He was a lieutenant that I served under in the Monroeville Police Department. I could go on forever telling you stories about him, but I'll just say that he was the most truthful, honest, consistently hardworking officer on the department, in my opinion. He taught me a lot, and he was a friend, and I will miss him.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Mr. Poach?
No, I just want to echo those thoughts, too. I mean, I had the chance to know Lou for, all of my time in Monroeville, and certainly really got to know him after he retired in his community activism. How's that for a good term? Yeah, to do that. And I was glad I had the opportunity to visit with him before he passed away and his family up at East. There was a number of people that spoke to me on Tuesday at the polls, talked about it and how they felt, actually came up and talked to me. I knew that we had also been friends to do that as well, too. So he's certainly going to be sorely missed by a lot of us. And I pass on, Doug Cole's condolences as well. He spoke about him a great deal and during his passing, too. So other than that, looking forward, and I appreciate everybody's efforts this past couple of weeks on our work with the pool program, and we'll keep moving that forward. I promise to do that. And to everyone here, also our help and the municipal staff that's helping keeping this moving forward. So thank you.
Unfortunately, Mayor, I think Chief Cole was one of his best friends, and I think that was the day he left on vacation, was the day he passed away, and I think Chief Cole spent his whole vacation thinking about that.
He did. He texted me thinking about it, said he was having a drink and thought of Lou the other day, like, you're on vacation, Doug.
Mrs. Gatos?
Well, I also condolences to Smitty's family. I got to know him when I was running for election the first time. He was very instrumental in helping get this community back on in the right path, getting Doug Cole back in his seat and getting us all up here so that we could get this borough back to what it belonged and become the great community that we are. So, I thank him for that and being able to be part of that. I also want to thank the people from Spectro Dolce for coming up. What they're doing is an amazing thing, and I think that we all feel that way. And it's nice to have some good news happening in this town. And those kinds of things need to be shared more often. And lastly, we were invited to an event that was very touching. It was at Temple David on Saturday, October the 26th, and it was From Darkness to Light, From Embrace to Hope. And the service was phenomenal. And we also got to take pieces of glass for a mosaic that will be kept there for eternity to remember the victims of the Tree of Life tragic shooting. But the service was amazing, and I thank everyone that was there, that they welcomed us with open arms. And it was very touching. So I just want to say thank you to Rabbi Simon for reaching out to us, and then everyone that was a member that was there and how they treated us. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you. And I'm going to reiterate the condolences that my colleagues up here mentioned about Lou Smith. Yes, Smitty was certainly, Mr. Poach, a community activist. That's a good way of saying it. But he really certainly cared about this community.
He did.
Many years of service to the community in the police department, longtime resident. He was honest, persistent, tenacious. There's some words to describe him, and he will be sorely missed. So with that, I would like to seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you and good night.